we turn the light off in the back?
Just like kind of push it to point it out the shot. Oh, it says we're live, Ryan, on the YouTube. Hello. Right. Nobody's watching, so it's fine. But for the recording, just bear with us while I push the button on other places, because we're going live in 3 different places, which is hilarious. God. Has it happened? We're live on Facebook. What's happening with this one?
Oh God.
What's happening with this one? Is it this one's not telling me anything? I don't know what's happening here. Well, that didn't work. It's already going well. Just a moment, friends. Oh, one. We've got one.
Who is it?
I don't know. Why didn't that work?
Not sure.
Neither am I. No.
I think it's what I left it. Yeah.
No.
Oh no, it's that way.
Just bear with.
And then press that one.
I pressed that. Checking connection. Hello, friends. Right.
There's 2 there.
There we go. We're live. Shall we do what we always do in a vlog?
Count them in. Which way are we going to go?
What do you mean which way we're going to go?
We're going to go...
Let's just look centrally.
Okay. 3, 2.
Oh, hi there! Hi! For anyone who's watching this is hilarious. So we are currently live in 3 different places. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Instagram, and we're live on Facebook. Because I couldn't decide which place to go live in, so I decided that we go live in all of them.
Everywhere. But also it means that he doesn't have to edit it as well.
I don't have to do any editing, and I've had wine. Yay for Friday. So it's Vlogmas Day 11. I should be aware of that because I've just written it. Vlogmas Day 11, and today's plan was always to watch The Prom, which is a new musical film on Netflix, which is an adaptation of the Broadway musical, The Prom. So we were going to watch it and then record like our thoughts, a review type thing, and then obviously edit that and share that. But instead, we've gone live to share our thoughts and a review, so I don't have to edit it because I'm lazy. I don't know where to look. I've got 3 little versions of myself.
I mean, someone's just told you that you've lost your northern accent.
I've lost my northern accent.
Yes.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, I probably have lost my northern accent ever slightly, probably quite a bit, which it just can't be helped because I spend so much time, because we live in Nottingham, and I've spent a lot of time in Lincolnshire and Yorkshire and all those places. Anyway, today's agenda. What does this say? Hope you're watching UK. Yay for Friday. And alcohol. Yes, my glass is pretty much empty now, but yeah, from my goblet. So, Ryan, The Prom on Netflix.
Yes, we've just watched it.
We've literally just finished. I cried about 3 times, I'd say.
But I would say that maybe it isn't that emotional.
What?
I think the talking musical side of things, it brings you out of it, and then it goes serious again, then they start talking and singing.
What do you mean?
It just stops you being
That's
emotional.
called a musical. It's a musical. No.
Yeah, well,
when they had the song at the end when they walked into the prom, and obviously they were singing, I was a crying wreck. That's when I was proper crying. Okay, come on, let's go back to the start. So I'll try not to give too many like spoilers if you haven't watched it yet, and if you're going to watch it. I feel like I've lost my train of thought. This is what happens. This is what you don't see when I edit it.
So it's got some big names. I suppose you could say that it's got some big names in. So it's got James Corden in, Meryl Streep, and you know the other people. I don't.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh, I did know Nicole Kidman.
Andrew Rannells. Is there another of the group? No, there's not. They are the main people. Some people may not know who Andrew Rannells is either. He's like a Broadway person, the original Elder Price from the Book of Mormon. By knowing things. And one thing I will say is that what I liked about it was that they didn't overshadow the story. And the main point of the story is that a girl who is a young teenage girl in high school, they're about to have the high school prom and she is gay and she wants to go to prom with her girlfriend, and basically the PTA goes against it and says that the only way to go about this is to cancel the prom. So it's kind of like that thing where they're like kind of putting the cancellation of the prom all on her, and that's kind of when these Broadway people come into it and they decide that they want to do something that makes themselves look like selfless, right? That's kind of how I've interpreted it. So they're gonna go along to the place because they've heard about it in the news over Twitter, and they're gonna like help to like campaign to have the prom happen, and that's kind of like the point, really. So yeah, what was your thoughts on it? Am I right?
So James Corden plays a very effeminate character, which is different to see him, and obviously he's got an American accent, and I just felt like it wasn't his character accent didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
it made it feel a bit, I mean, it was a musical, but
was it
he made me feel a bit cheaper.
Was it the American accent or the camp American accent?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Not sure. Yeah, I might have to watch it again.
One of my feelings on it, whereas to be fair, I will say that James Corden was surprisingly all right in it, actually. It wasn't actually that bad. But I would have liked his character, who is obviously supposed to be gay, to be played by somebody who is gay, just because there's that whole thing that like tends to go around right now about, you know, people of a certain, like, well, gay people of a certain type not getting cast in roles because, you know, because they camp or whatever. So other people could have played that role. For example, Andrew Rannells is a gay man. Could he have not played that character? Maybe, possibly, perhaps, because he's wonderful, he's amazing. But instead they put James Corden in it because James Corden is famous, he's well known. But to be fair, he was all right. But it's just a shame that, like, you know, somebody else probably didn't get to play that role who probably would have been better than him. But I think it's a small thing, really.
Yeah.
My main thing about it is that, you know, the message that is behind it all, that's about people feeling accepted and able to be who they are, is the point of the story. And I quite liked, like I said earlier, that the famous people in it, they didn't like overshadow it, because that could have easily happened. It could have become all about Meryl Streep and her character and that relationship or whatever.
I think the whole feel of the film was quite a nice feeling. It was about being
singing
and people singing, and I mean, it's about getting that message out there. But I think the people who will watch that already understand that message as well. I suppose that we get more enjoyment out of it because we can relate to the film more.
Well, I suppose, but I
don't think my brother might enjoy it as much as we did.
But how do you know that
until
he watches it?
After lockdown, let's get him round.
Just make him watch it now. Make him watch it now. Tell him there's a great film on Netflix called The Prom.
Yeah.
Check it out. You'll really like it.
It did make me think. Make me think back to my prom when I was at school.
Well, yeah, it made me think back to my prom as well.
Did you go to prom?
No, because who would I have gone to prom with? This is why at the end I felt a bit like tearful, because I was thinking about it, and it's a really stupid thing. And to be fair, when I had the prom when I was at school, this was back in 2004, maybe 2004, 2005, something like that. And I feel like that was a time when like schools having proms was still actually quite a new thing.
Right. Of course, because it is American more. So
it's an American thing to have the prom. It's not a British thing. So like we were probably one of the earlier like what's the word I'm trying to find here?
Generations.
Yeah, one of the earlier generations to be having it. And obviously the reason I didn't want to go was because I knew by that point that I was probably gay. Probably because I was obviously like, maybe I'm not. But I knew by that point that I was, and I knew that I didn't know anybody else at school who also was, and I couldn't go with anybody. And people were having those conversations about who they were going to the prom with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. It was like it is in the high school like kind of films to an extent of that people were going with kind of people. Even if you were going with your friend, it was always a boy with a girl. And my friend did ask me to go, and I originally said I was going to think about it, and we were going to go like as friends. But then I just said no, I don't want to go, and me and her never went. And I didn't want to go because I was like, because the truth of it is that I want to go with a boy, but I can't be myself.
Yeah.
So
when I went with my friend who was female, and we kind of went with each other. But then we kind of went in our group of friends, so it wasn't really like a prom date. We just arrived together at the same time.
Yeah.
And hung out, and it was really close friends at the time. But it was one of them things where I wasn't openly gay then, so I felt a bit like I couldn't really relax, and like what they were saying in the film about being yourself and being drunk. I think when I was younger, getting a bit drunk was a bit careful, like scary in case I slipped up and I let people know. I mean, I think everyone knew anyway. But I just didn't want people to know at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I also wore my uncle's suit, and it was massive. It wasn't a
You
good
wore
suit.
your uncle's suit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what
Suit and tie.
I would have worn because I wouldn't have had anything.
Yeah, and I had hair.
God, the differences.
So scary.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I think that the film could, if you've got an kind of emotions linked to your own prom, it could be evoking.
Yeah.
What's that place? Evocative? Yeah.
It's evocative.
It could be evocative.
It's an evocative musical. So from a emotional side of it put aside, we've been going for about 11 minutes now.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on for too much over 15 because I don't want to bore you all.
Yes. I don't know. It might. Is this the third musical James Corden has done with Meryl Streep? So
with Meryl Streep?
Into the Woods one?
Into the Woods?
I don't know what the other one would be. So this one, Into the Woods.
I don't think he's in another musical with her. This will be the second.
What's his other musicals?
Every time they decide to turn a musical into a musical movie, Meryl Streep seems to be in it. It's just like, we're making a musical. Well, let's cast Meryl Streep. I think she just goes, there's a musical. What? It's me. But like I said earlier on, like I feel like it wasn't as much about them as I thought it was going to be, which was nice actually.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was more focused on the main characters, but as you were saying about like not is it typecasting, casting people in roles?
Yeah.
I was a bit annoyed that the main girl who was a lesbian was like, I don't know, she wasn't portrayed like as a stereotypical girl, so they made her like look a bit quirky.
Okay, yeah.
And I was a bit like, they made her look a bit quirky because they want to show that she's different physically.
Because all the gays are quirky. Look at us, we're quirk personified.
I'm a bit like, well, it's a bit like so TV came on. It's a bit like, I don't know why they had to make her different. Because I mean, maybe it was like physically as well to look like that.
But I think they were trying to show a bit of a balance there, because I feel like the other character, who was her girlfriend, she was the one who was more like the normal one, as it were, and she was under the pressure of her family who was trying.
We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, she was under the pressure of her family trying to make her live up to this, like, you know, expectation of having straight A's and being like the perfect like girly girl and all that. So I feel like she was that representation, and then the other girl was also the other representation of the person who is a bit obviously different, a bit quirky, as you put it. So I feel like that's the balance they must have been trying to strike there. Songs wise, let's just quickly talk about that. I'm coming press that because it keeps going off. Songs wise, what do we think about the strength of the songs? Because obviously I've never heard the musical before personally, so I'd never heard the songs. I hadn't listened to it purposely because I knew it was being made into a film, so I decided not to, which is not like me, because I usually listen to the songs first and then have it all spoiled for me. But it was new to me. Thoughts, feelings.
Some of them caught me, some of them brought me in and hooked me, and some of them were really like good ones that I could think I'd have that on in the car.
That's what I always think. I always think
Others-
we're going to listen to this on a car journey.
Yeah. Other songs, it's a bit hit and miss. And to be fair, I'm pretty much of that opinion on most musicals. There's very few musicals that I like where I like every song. I can listen to the whole soundtrack throughout.
Unless it's Hamilton.
Unless it's Hamilton. But even with Hamilton,
I feel like you didn't.
even with Hamilton, there's some songs that I don't even like with that.
No, but when you listen to it all as a whole,
Yeah, it goes through the story.
it just works.
Yeah.
It works. Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought the songs were. There wasn't a song in it that jumped out at me as like, that is the song. Because I feel like every musical has a song that's like the song. Wicked's got Defying Gravity. Other musicals have those songs. I can't think of them right now. But they are like, you know what I mean? Like the one song. But I didn't feel like anything jumped out at me. However, it all just worked. It was one of those things that like, maybe you wouldn't obviously listen to them all because like, this is a great tune that I'm going to pop along to. But they worked in the context. And
I think that it also had quite a variety of songs. So like there were the kind of High School Musical type songs.
There was a couple of parts that had major High School Musical
jazzy
vibes.
Parts. When Nicole Kidman does like
it was referencing
a parody
like
of Chicago.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
And I felt a bit like
I could relate to it.
I felt a bit like Meryl Streep's character. A little bit felt like a bit of a parody of Patti LuPone, because they mentioned something. There was a part in it where they mentioned something about like a phone going off during a show, and then he like made a joke, went, "Oh, it was your phone. It was in your wig."
I would recommend it.
Yes. Lynn asks, so I've not watched it yet, so you'd recommend? I would recommend, yes, highly. I think, Lynn, you will definitely like it. Like, as I know you, I think you'll definitely enjoy. It is a joy. It is a joy. But yes, yeah, there was that bit in it where they like referenced something like there was a phone went off during a show and they said it was your phone, it was in your wig. But famously, Patti LuPone once stopped the entire performance of a show she was in because someone was on their phone and she singled them out and she was basically like, "What are you doing?" And it was like a big deal.
Oh,
like
wow.
I think there's a couple of recordings of it where someone got their phone out and they recorded it. But I felt like it was referenced, and she did have a bit of a look of her with the hair and everything. I mean, she didn't act anything like Patti LuPone because like Patti LuPone can be like comedic yet scary and stern. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm going off on a tangent. I haven't looked at any of my notes. And yes, and I liked that it kind of felt like, which it must have been in the show anyway, but there was a part of it that felt a little bit like, you know, the song with the guy, and he was talking about the escapism of the theatre.
Yeah.
It felt almost like that was like, it was meant to be right now, because obviously theatre at the moment is like completely dead. And, you know, obviously it is going to come back, but I felt like it really was going into that whole thing about how theatre is escapism. It takes you to another place. It helps you to get away. This is what performers like bring to you and stuff. And I really liked that.
I think it's, yeah, like nod to it. Like plays, musicals, anything like that. TV programs, music, it takes you away from what you are now.
That's why I love that industry.
Yeah. One of my
escapism.
favorite songs out of it was when they were talking, which is a really good point, about cherry picking from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a really funny song because it does put out the things that people think that it's wrong because they listen to the Bible and they say being gay is wrong, and then but then people wearing two different types of cloth and eating meat on a Sunday, those sorts of things which you could have got stoned for in biblical times, whereas now you're fine.
Exactly. I just feel like we've neglected the comments. Let's just have a little peep at the comments. I'm just going to look on Instagram. People are waving.
Lynn's excited to get back to the theatre.
Yes, Lynn. So am I. Honestly, I can't wait. I'm so like excited about Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. There was a new song from that came out today, and I love it. I love it. Prince Sebastian, wonderful. What have we got? I'm just gonna have a look at the comments on Insta. Is this the third musical James Collins with Meryl Streep? No, it's not. Okay, somebody just, I believe I know who that is. Jamie from Peterlee, who I went to college with where I did performing arts. Anyway, I feel like we've gone off on a total a tangent now. What did I write in my notes? Blah blah blah.
I put in mine.
What did you put in your notes?
In mine was
my one thing I have to say.
In fact, it does build you up. Sorry,
it
kind of builds you up, and you think, "Oh, everything's fine," and then you're like, "Oh no, everything falls apart," and then you're like, "Oh, everything's fine," and you're like, "Oh no, everything falls apart." And I got a bit sick of it, but then I know that's what films and musicals do.
Yeah, that's just how
I'm a bit more
narratives are, isn't it?
I just want to know.
Everything starts out okay, something goes to shit, and then the solution to the problem happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a second curveball that helps it go extra to shit, and then the solving.
I would happily get smuggled into Australia anytime that you want to send over a shipping container.
Yeah, so
I would do that.
Ryan in the comments said theatres are open over here. Ryan is in Australia, and we'll have to smuggle me and Rai. He used Rai into the country that's going to stick. You are going to be Rai. And Lynn said that she didn't book anything yet, and I feel kind of the same. Like, so we have some things that are booked for the theatre. We've got what, like 2-3 things. We've got Les Mis, just you and me.
Yeah.
We've got
Book of
Waitress, Book of Mormon.
When have we got Waitress?
Waitress is like next year in like April.
Did I pay for that?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
You did. Yeah, and it's like I feel apprehensive about, like, by that point, will things go back to normal, and will we be able to go to them? I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very hopeful, but what's wrong?
Purring Pepper from Instagram has said meow.
Oh, that's because.
So
is it a cat account? Ooh, there's a kitty watching us. Pussy. But yeah, I feel a bit scared to book anything else now. So what I really want to book, you're going to see Les Mis without me. I feel betrayed. To be fair, Ryan booked it.
Yeah, it's
Ryan
like through...
booked it without my knowledge, and it's through his work thing, his employees thing. So it's nothing to do with me. So it was a surprise, which got rescheduled severely.
Yeah.
So I feel the same, because I really want to book to see Frozen, and I really want to book to see Cinderella, and I want to see Six. I want to see Les Mis in London. I would love to see Jamie live. All those things.
Oh, we're going to see Jamie.
Oh, we are. Oh, that's been rescheduled as well. We've got 4 things that have currently
been rescheduled twice.
Rescheduled. Well, to be fair,
let's not book anything for next year. Let's book it for the year after. We've got so many things to do this year.
We've got time. Well, I feel like we've spoken all the things that we had. That we wanted to talk about.
I haven't got anything else other than if you like musicals. If you didn't like Into the Woods, give this a shot, because I didn't like Into the Woods. Into the Woods is a very, what you might call a like sung through kind of a musical, which is kind of more like where people just like, they sing every word that they're saying, like I'm walking over here and doing this and doing that, whereas the Prom is more like a story with dialogue, and now and again they break into song, which is really nice. I mean, they break into song more than now and again, but yeah, it's not that kind of a musical. And to be honest, it's just uplifting. It's full of joy. The songs are entertaining, and the point of it is that the story is getting across to people that, you know, everybody should be allowed to be themselves, because people just are who they are, and it's okay. And I like that. I think it is worth a watch, and it's free on Netflix. I mean, Netflix isn't free, but okay, I see what you say. I mean, if you've got Netflix, it's free. You've got Netflix, it's free. It's free with your subscription. I had another comment to say. Oh, my one teeny tiny thing is that I always think about stuff like this. So we were talking about this the other day, is that we watched the Holiday recently. Yes? I haven't seen that. Is that not what it's called? You mean the festive season? Happiest season. The happiest season. The Holiday is a different movie altogether. We watched Happiest Season. And I loved that film. I thought it was really good. But what I was
what my feelings were about that was that I said I looked forward to a time when there could be lots of films that the main characters were gay, and it was just that they were, and there was no like that the story didn't focus on the fact that these people are gay and they had to come out or they're facing struggles. Like I look forward to the time when we don't have to make stuff about the struggles, and it's just that here are the people in this role, in the main role of like this, and they are gay, and it's just like nobody bats an eyelid. Lynn says the happy season gave me so much rage while watching. I hate how she was treating her. Oh my god, that honestly, I feel like we could make a video about that, about the fact that I was like, don't go back to her, don't go back to her, Bella, go back to our Pats.
I think there's a
oh no, this is why I tapped the screen.
A parody.
Oh god, we lost connection.
God.
Yeah,
I think there's a parody, not a parody, like an alternative ending. If you want to have a search somewhere, Lynn, I'm not sure where it was.
What the happiest?
Yeah, I feel like it was on TikTok.
Oh,
where there's an alternative ending.
Yeah.
We'll have to try.
I wanted to run off with the X. Me too, actually. She was hotter. That's by the by.
But yes.
Yes.
Have a watch if you've got Netflix.
Yeah.
I wouldn't join Netflix just to watch it though.
Oh my god, I would. I would, because Disney Plus is letting me down. That's why I've paid for it for a year and we never watch it. That's totally pointless. Anyway, so I think we should leave it there. This has been enjoyable being live.
Your first time live.
Nobody's watching on Facebook, and nobody has, so Facebook was a waste of time.
I think one person did it on Facebook.
It was probably your mum for like 5 minutes, and then she realised that she didn't care.
She's probably in bed. She probably forgot. It's all right.
Anyway, so yeah, that was really fun, and we loved the prom. So watch the prom. Let us know what you think. Just before we go, Lynn's just asked, "Have you watched Noel?" And yes, we have, and I loved it, and I also cried at that. I don't know why, because it's like the emotions of Christmas. Like, God, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Noel's great.
Cool.
So that's it.
This is a different Vlogmas.
Different Vlogmas, and I don't have to edit it.
Which means we can go straight to bed.
We're going to go to bed. I don't have to start. There's pots to be washed, but I'm doing them in the morning.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay. So for anybody who's tuned in, and for anybody who's watching this when it's up as the recording, thank you very much for watching. Okay. We love you. He doesn't.
Two,
I do.
One. I was going to count us in.
Why are you going to count it? Ryan wants to count everyone.
3, 2, 1.
What are we counting for?
Say goodbye.
Okay, we've never done that before. Okay, we love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Right, I've got to press end on all these things.
I can't find it.
End.